Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. The phone number is 937-457-9464. One more time, 937-457-9464. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. That's lunchtime, and you got time to get you some. I just ate me a piece of chicken. I'm going to have another one on a break, so it's a good lunchtime filler. It's Wednesday, March the 3rd. I know we just seem like Black History Month. I know it's the shortest month of the year, but it just went by so fast. But nevertheless, we don't have to be Black History Month to celebrate history, and we always talk about historical things on this show all the time. And one thing we do want to make history and forget about this history one day is the coronavirus. It's still present, though. It just won't go away, just not yet. We're doing better here in Ohio. I'm not going to say the same about Texas, and we're not Texas, so we're not just saying we're wide open. Texas shouldn't be wide open. Nobody should just be wide open yet. Do the little things. And where does the little things? Washing your hands for 15, 20 seconds. Wear a mask. Keep your distance. The love it's been a year. Your family and your friends, they still love you the same. Yes, I'm a hugger by nature, but hey, sometimes you just can't hug your friends and family the way you want to. So we can do those things. Let's continue to do that. And we'll get back to, quote unquote, what is normal. What's normal to us. And, just looking around in the world of sports, because it seems like the sports world, sometimes there's a reflection of what's going on in the other world, or the real world, as some would say. Ohio State just announced the other day that spring practices, I'm talking about football, and it's still basketball season for the Buckeye basketball team. Talk about that in a second. But March the 19th is the spring football practice. It seemed like we just watched the national championship game against Alabama. But they're going to start practicing on March the 19th, and then the spring game will be, what's that date, Justin? April, like the third week in April. There's a spring game, but they announced they don't know if they're going to have fans or not. So again, we're doing better here in Ohio. We affect the rest of the world. I want to go to the spring game, and try to answer some of the questions that won't probably be answered until September. But who's the starting quarterback? Who's the next running back? J.K. Dobbins is gone. That was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago now. Trey Sermon is gone. Who's going to step up? Is Master T going to really be the guy? Or Trayvon Henderson? Some of these new game faces. Who's going to be the defense? All those questions, you try to get somewhat of an answer on in the spring. And, you can only listen so much, because the practices are closed. The media, they get a little attention in there, but they don't get to see everything. And then the coaches will tell you what they want you to say. But you like to see for yourself. So I like going to the spring game, just to see the players live and, in the spring, and to seeing them come close to a football game, but it's not the same, like when I was in college. We were really actually hitting. And there was the one time, we could actually hit the quarterbacks in practice. I think we got a little carried. We ended up breaking our quarterback's leg. It wasn't on purpose, but it happened. That happened to Mike Tomczak right before his senior year. He had his leg broke in the spring game. He was able to make it back by the week 3 of that season, but, we had physical spring practices back in those days. It was 20 practices instead of 15 that they have now. And we hit all 20 practices. From I think now they have 3 practices in helmet and shorts, and then the last 12 practices are somewhat physical, but our practices, spring was just a thought alone. And y'all said, what do you think about? I'll tell you something off spring practice. I didn't plan to talk about this. I have some other subjects I want to talk about, but you get talking about football, I can just talk about that all day. But this time of the year, nobody's watching. This is when the guys get better. You hear me talk about that in the pros, and the same rule applies in college, and the same rule applies in high school. But this time of year at Ohio State, it's the month of March, no games. You already had your bowl game in January. And this is when you actually trying to win a job. This is when you earn your job. And I remember those days, winter conditioning. And when I was at Ohio State, our winter conditioning only lasted an hour. The actual on field was only an hour. But it was like stationary. We had to go to different stations for maybe about 5 minutes or so, and then the coach would blow the whistle. You break it down, and you go to the next coach's station. And every coach that was responsible for a station, he put you through these drills. And you're like, especially when I was a freshman, and you listen to the upperclassmen talk, and they said, man, it's only an hour, and 15 minutes of that is stretching. So it's really only 45 minutes, but it is 45 minutes of torture. You're going to be worked out like you've never been worked before. And they're like, well, I worked out pretty good in high school, yeah, but this is college. And they were 100% right. I mean, Earl Bruce would blow the whistle. We start stretching for 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, all the assistant coaches be spread out over the football field, and you had our assignments, or you go by your positions. Okay, all the running backs over here, the offensive linemen here, boop, and we would scatter. And oh my gosh, the drills that they would put us through for those next 45 minutes, it was like we had practiced 2.5 hours. I mean, no matter how cold it was outside, you are wringing with sweat. And we preferred to go outside than being inside. Sometimes with bad weather, here in Ohio, we have to do winter conditioning inside. And that just makes it even worse because it's so much hotter. But they would work us out so hard for those 45 minutes. And then here comes spring practices. Like Buckeyes going to start spring practice in a couple weeks. And I was like, man, they said, man, winter conditioning is tough, but spring practice is even tougher because now you're trying to find a job. You're trying to win a job. And even though we're friendly, we're going to laugh and joke and have dinner, and we may have classes together. But when we step out on that football field, hey, it's no brother-in-law and there's no taking it easy. Hey, we are competing at a high level, and that's we want to be the best in the country, best in the Big Ten, the best everywhere. And you got it, iron sharpens iron. And these guys, we used to go at it, and it's the same way now. I mean, these guys, they're friendly and they're going to be friends, but it's about the team first, and they're going to push you as hard as you can. And that's what it is. I mean, so I don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. So you can call and ask me, and I'm going to tell you I don't know. But whoever it is, and what I've seen around Ohio State the last, 10 years, 5-10 years, the best guy has started. We said, what about Joe Burrows? Joe Burrows did not beat out Dwayne Haskins. Joe Burrows had a legitimate chance. Dwayne Haskins was the better quarterback at Ohio State. That's why he won the job. That's why Joe Burrows went in the transfer portal. And I mean, and it's not even if you say, if I had a magic ball, if I could do it all over again, I would go with Joe Burrows. He would go on to win the Heisman Trophy and win the national championship. But did Ohio State choose wrong by going with Dwayne Haskins? No. Dwayne Haskins was a Heisman finalist. He was a first-round draft pick in NFL. I mean, he's still in the NFL. He's with the Pittsburgh Steelers now, but that's another subject for a different time. But we're talking about these guys in college. Ohio State was just healthy at the quarterback position. And what I'm reading and hearing, it may be the same type of thing. They are healthy at the quarterback position. And that's what you want. I mean, we're Buckeyes, we're kind of spoiled. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. We have been spoiled. And I hate to even, pick on players or anything like that. But who was Ohio State's worst quarterback in the last 10 years? That's, it's 2011. Can we go back to, 2021, go back to 2011. Who was the worst quarterback? And I even hate to even ask that question that way, because it's really the answer is none. We've been pretty healthy at the quarterback position the last 10 years. I mean, and every time a quarterback is left, we're going into the next season. Oh man, what do you think? What do you think? And the last couple of times we've asked that questions, we was like, okay. I mean, when they won a national championship in 2014, we was stocked at 3 quarterbacks. We had Cardale Jones, J.T. Barrett, and only 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year from Dayton, Ohio.
And Braxton
Miller. How can I? Braxton, I'm sorry. I had a brain freeze.
Well, he's a wide receiver. So see, that's why you were mixed up. I mean, he's a wide receiver. That's why you got lost.
Okay, I know. Next time I see Braxton, I'm going to give him a hug. I'm sorry, bro. So once Braxton did go to wide receiver his senior year, but JT ended up winning the job, and JT also Big Ten MVP. When we lose JT Barrett, he's like, wow, JT's been there for 4 years. Who's going to replace him? Oh, wait a minute, we got a guy by the name of Dwayne Haskins. Oof. Ooh, he came in when the JT got hurt, but that was only a little spot time, and we don't know how good he's going to be over the long haul of the season. Well, that answer we got that answer really quick in the first couple of games of the season, seeing how special Dwayne Haskins was, and he was so special. He said, I'm going to the pros now. Wow, who's next? Is it Tate Martell? Who's the backup? No, they got a transfer. Who? This backup guy from Georgia. Guy named Justin Fields. He's coming to Ohio State. Really? How much did he play at Georgia? Not too much, because Georgia was pretty good too. They went to the national championship game when he was and with a freshman quarterback. So we get Justin Fields in here, 2019 season, first quarter. Next thing we know, he fakes a handoff and goes 50. Wow. Okay, he is pretty as good as advertised. Okay, and then he went on and had a tremendous, was that his freshman year, I guess, as he was still in second year. And then last year, he just built upon that, and Big Ten Player of the Year, going to be a first-round draft pick, in the next 5 to 6 weeks from now. So we've been kind of spoiled. And now we're going into this offseason with who is the next quarterback. I don't know. But we'll see who it is. And whoever it is, hopefully, he's got big shoes to fill. Just like the previous guy had big shoes to fill, just like the previous guy had big shoes to fill. And so on. But that's why we are Ohio State fans, and that's why, we cheer for those guys. When you wish them nothing but the best. But some of the couple of other topics was on my mind that I want to get to. Hall of Fame. I think the NFL Hall of Fame came out right before the Super Bowl, and things, kind of the story cycles go so fast. I want to talk about that. And my other question related to the Hall of Fame is, what is a Hall of Famer? I have no idea. I mean, I have an idea. I have thoughts, but that's the question. What is a Hall of Famer? When is he a Hall of Famer? And is he a Hall of Famer like Joe Burrows, number 1 pick of the draft, played 10 games for the Bengals last year, looked pretty good in all of them. Are we already stamping him with Hall of Fame status? Or do you have to play 5 years before we start looking at you as a Hall of Famer, or 10 years when we start looking at you a Hall of Famer? Or you win a big game, does that make you a Hall of Famer? So we're going to get that in a second. But then also, Tiger Woods. When I got off the show last week, a couple hours later, Tiger Woods gets in a car accident, and the sports world, the world basically stopped for a moment. Is he okay? Because we're only a little more than a year removed from the tragic stories we had last year with Kobe Bryant, passing away in a helicopter crash. And it felt eerie like that again for a few hours last Monday, as far as how we all feel and think about Tiger Woods, and everybody has their own opinions on how they feel about Tiger Woods. Just like everybody has their own feeling about everybody. Nobody agrees with everybody on who you are, on what you like. Everybody doesn't like me. A lot of other people like me. Everybody don't like you, but a whole lot of other people like you. So, but what happened to Tiger Woods last week? I thought the media coverage at best was average. But at the worst, it was unfair. I think some of the things that they said about that man, I thought it was just unfair, especially the guy on CNN talking about he has a history of drug abuse. And I was like, what are y'all talking about? The man has just been in a major crash, single car crash. He's fighting, we don't know sure he's going to live or die, and y'all want to go with that. Y'all forgot, he is a father. He is a husband. Those things, and then what he does for a living is secondary. That who he is as a person to his family members, that's more important than him swinging a golf club. So I don't know what this obsession is. We always want to jump to the negative on the story about, someone, an icon or a major public figure. Why is that? Let's just, if it's something negative, that'll come out. But why do we have to always want to lead that way? I want him to be healthy first and foremost. I want him to be alive. For this cause, I'm a huge Tiger Woods fan. From day one, even before he even turned pro, before I even seen him in the U.S. Open, I remember hearing about him, in California when he was, junior. I'm an avid golfer. I follow golf, pretty close. But I'm not, just because I'm a fan, don't mean I don't tell the truth about a person. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't necessarily particularly like the HBO documentary, but that's another subject. But I thought the coverage for Tiger Woods was totally, overall it was unfair. At the best, it was average. But I wish him a recovery. Of course, I wish him a speedy recovery, but I want him to be, recover to have a healthy lifestyle, whatever that is. And the first part of having a healthy lifestyle is being there for your family. And then second part, if he ends up playing sports again, fine. But as long as he's there for his family, that's the number one priority. And like I said, I'm a huge Tiger Woods fan. Was I looking forward to possibly seeing him in April at Augusta? Of course. Do I want to see him play golf again? Of course. But I want him to have a productive life. That's so that's my well wishes and things to go out here as Tiger Woods demand. Tiger Woods, the athlete, that'll take care of itself. And one other subject I'm going to talk about after the break, Dak Prescott. Justin, I know that's your team, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott came out the other day and he said he needs to be the second highest paid quarterback in NFL. He doesn't have to have Pat Mahomes' money, but he needs to be right behind Pat Mahomes. And I learned a long time ago even when I was still in the league, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And I'm always pro player, even when that player doesn't play for my team. I'm always leaning for the players, so my theory is get all you can get. If somebody, if you can get it, you get it. I said you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Because everybody on their job, whatever your job is doing, are you being paid enough? Probably not. You probably want more. I don't know if anybody, working, so, they just pay me too much of this job. I'm going to go back in and try to negotiate a lesser contract. Whatever you are making, you would love to have more. That's just how we are here in America, and that's how we are in the world. But you're content. But if they want to pay you a little bit more, you take some more. You'll take more. Whatever your dollar figure that you make right now. If you could have negotiated more, you would have gotten more. Nobody's content. Like, man, I'm good. I don't want no more money. Who is that person? If you don't want, don't take no. I'll give you my address, my email, and you can. I'll take all your overage. So if Dak Prescott can get that money, hey, more power to him. I have no problem with Dak Prescott getting that kind of money. You know, whatever it is. I mean, is he deserving of a better contract? Absolutely. Does he deserve to be number 2? Doesn't matter. What I think, if he can negotiate to be the number 2 highest paid quarterback, hey, get it, man. Get it. I mean, would I have paid J.J. Watt $31 million for 2 years of Robert Arizona Cardinals? No, but they did. And so, J.J., you got it, bro. Go get it. I ain't mad at you, J.J. I am not mad. Man, lose his job in Houston, signs for more money in Arizona. Welcome to America. So it happens like that for you sometimes. So, hey, more power to you. But if Dak Prescott can get that kind of money, I don't know. But like I said, going into the break, we'll talk NFL Hall of Famers. We're going to talk more about that. I'm going to answer the question, what is a Hall of Famer, the best I can, and who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, who doesn't. Well, I shouldn't say who doesn't, but who else is more deserving to be in. If you made it, God bless you. Wish you well. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I'll be with you more after the break.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
2 chocolate chip muffins coming in. Thank you.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Hey, can someone get that?
Like at Claire's Cafe. To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely, like, good evening, officer. A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV? I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas. Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price? You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code CAR for a 50-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code CAR. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code CAR. That's CAR. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Paint? No, Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first of its kind one coat ready mix white provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party tests, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with Paper Mile Insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
O'Reilly. Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
Hey, it's Rick from upstairs. Yeah, I take it seriously. When I play R&B at 1 a.m, that's me saying, hey, I'm here for you. And I enjoy repetitive bass lines. I only use expired batteries in my smoke detectors. Nice, right? Yeah, upstairs neighbors help people forget their troubles. Give them something else to focus on. Ooh, want to see how high I can jump?
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor.
No, wait, let me try again.
But we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Remember, customize and save with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression. My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill, it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. 937-457-9464 is the number to call. Well, before the break, I said I was going to talk about the Hall of Fame. The NFL Hall of Fame. I think that is a tremendous, tremendous honor, to receive. And, every year when the Hall of Fame comes out, it's talk about, oh man, who got in, but more talk of who didn't get in. And, and I don't want that to take away from the players that were elected in. And this year, the NFL put in 8 players. They put in Alec Faneca, ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, Tom Flores, ex-coach of the Raiders and the Seahawks, Calvin Johnson, Detroit Lion, John Lynch. Calvin Johnson, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Alec Faneca was a guard. John Lynch, a safety for the Denver Broncos, but more so Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Peyton Manning, quarterback. Bill Nunn, who played for was a senior scout for the Steelers many years. Drew Pearson, Dallas Cowboy, and Charles Woodson, Oakland Raider, Green Bay Packer, Heisman Trophy winner. But so kudos to those guys that got in. And I said before the break is, I don't know what a Hall of Fame is. I'm going to try to define it, the best way that I can. I used to do a TV show for about 5 years, and when I was in New York, and I was on the show with a Hall of Fame writer, and we used to debate this all the time. He was not just a writer, but he was a voter for the Hall of Fame. And my biggest debate with him was, I said, well, I think the media and you voters, y'all make up your minds too soon, as far as what a player is a Hall of Famer or not. So what do you mean? I said, for the most part, you guys have your minds made up by the first 5 years of a player's career, and you said he's going to be a Hall of Famer someday. Or instead of letting the player play his whole career out, take some time away, digest his career, and then make a decision. And you take all your emotions out of it. And that's how it should be, to choose a Hall of Famer. Because when I was a little shorty growing up, hearing about the Hall of Fame, like, man, that is awesome. Those guys they're the best of the best, the greatest of the greatest to get to go in the Hall of Fame. And that is true to a certain extent. And I'm talking about football, but you can add in baseball, you can add in basketball or whatever your favorite sports. And there are very much well-deserving players. And I'm not saying put everybody in the Hall of Fame. No, I'm not saying that. It's not that trophy generation. Everybody get to go in. And, but like I said, when I was young looking at it, it was the whole world to me. And as you get older, hopefully wiser, and I think I've gotten older and wiser over the years, to look at a guy and agree or disagree, and with an expert eye. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but sometimes you have to toot your own horn. And if I know, I'm not going to hide what I don't know. Hide what I know. And this year, everybody that went in the Hall of Fame this year, were they all deserving? One thing I try to be on this show is honest. I guess they're deserving. So yes, they are deserving to get voted in. Would I have voted somebody in over them? Absolutely. So again, that was something I said before the break. Is it more deserving, guys? Yes. And I asked it rhetorically. I don't know what a Hall of Famer is. Because when I think a Hall of Fame is, and what the other people think a Hall of Fame, that's a big divide. I remember it's been some years ago now. I was at an autograph appearance with the great L.C. Greenwood, ex-Pittsburgh Steeler. And we was having this Hall of Fame question, not a debate, just a question that came up. And I asked LC Greenwood, I said, when are you going in the Hall of Fame? You had a Hall of Fame career. I mean, you were great. I grew up hating you, what you used to do to my Cleveland Browns when I was, in the 70s. But I had the utmost respect for you, so he laughed about it. And he said, Keith, I knew I wasn't going to go in the Hall of Fame. He said, one year I was a finalist. In the year I was a finalist, they put a kicker in over me. And that was the first kicker to get elected into the Hall of Fame. That was Jan Stenerud. And he said they voted Jan Stenerud in over me. And where it got back to me was, well, there's too many Steelers in right now. You just got to wait. What does that have to do with? He played in the 70s on those great Pittsburgh Steelers teams, the Steel Curtain. He was part of the Steel Curtain defense. And they said, it's too many Steelers in. Just wait. Yeah, wait for what? I'm not going to play any more games. I'm not going to get any better. Worse, what am I waiting on? Either I was or I wasn't. So that lets you know how much politics comes into play on what is a Hall of Famer. I mean, and so with the writer that me and he used to go back and forth with every week on the show, I'm like, I mean, I said, because you guys jumped to conclusion. I mean, this year Peyton Manning was elected into the Hall of Fame. Yes, I believe Peyton Manning is a Hall of Famer. But how long has Peyton Manning been in the Hall of Fame? Almost by the time his second or third year in the NFL, he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. We can't wait to put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, stop with all this Hall of Fame talk. Let a guy play his career and then decide. I mean, because when football season is on, you hear, the accolades that they throw at players. I mean, even Pat Mahomes, is Pat Mahomes, because I said most of the time by a guy's fifth year, they know whether or not he's going to make the Hall of Fame. Pat Mahomes is going into his fifth year. So far in the first four, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been a Super Bowl MVP. He's been a league MVP. With that kind of resume already this early in his career, it's only a matter of time before he's in the Hall of Fame. Right or wrong? I'm sure I'm right. People know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Unless, what? He just starts throwing interceptions at the interception and just, his next 4 years will be as worse as his first 4 years. I mean, just the total opposite. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, I know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But the thing is, we cannot jump to, because I think, I hold the Hall of Fame at probably a higher standard than they do. I'm like, did you dominate in your era? I mean, when I said, that's what I would think, a Hall of Famer is. For me, when of course you should have the respect of your peers, but it seems to be like certain guys, and I don't think marketing should have anything to do with what a Hall of Famer is. That's, you win the Hall of Fame, and you earn the Hall of Fame, what you do between the white lines, not who you played for, not how much they market your name, because I'm saying all that to say they should have a third of the voting go to the writers, or even half go to the writers, and then have another half to go to former players who knows the game, who played against these guys and have studied these guys, and they recognize game. So I'm saying former players need to have a vote on who goes into the Hall of Fame, because we know who greatness is. We don't need to be voted into a Pro Bowl, to say whether or not this guy's good. We already know. There's a whole lot of great players don't have a lot of Pro Bowls behind their name. And there's a whole lot of players with Pro Bowls behind their name aren't great players. This year, it's 3 names that didn't go into the Hall of Fame that I think really should be in there. I mean, last year, Drew Pearson made it for the Dallas Cowboys. Do I think Drew Pearson is a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. I think he's one of the top 2, probably the top 2 receivers the Cowboys ever had. Top 2 or 3 for sure. The top receiver for me for the Cowboys, and I know Justin, my producer, is going to disagree with me, is probably Bullet Bob Hayes. And then the second best receiver is between Drew Pearson and Michael Irvin. That's just my opinion. But Bob Hayes was special, real special, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But, when you play with a very marketable team like the Dallas Cowboys, and last year when Drew Pearson didn't get in, it was a big brouhaha. Like, when? Wow, he needs to be in there. And I was like, yeah, he does need to be in there. I understand why he's upset. So they made up for it this year and put Drew Pearson in the Hall of Fame. And like I said, he is deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. But it was another one of his contemporaries that played the same time he did that's not in the Hall of Fame. Wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders by the name of Cliff Branch. Why isn't Cliff Branch in the Hall of Fame? I mean, his numbers are better than Drew Pearson. And for me, I don't like to bring up numbers a lot on this show because I said numbers only tell you half the story. They don't tell you the whole story on the measure of how good a player is. But I mean, so Cliff Branch was on 3 Super Bowl winning teams. I mean, he had speed to burn, and you had to cover him, and he stretched the field. And he played with a Hall of Fame wide receiver who, one of the reasons why he's in the Hall of Fame because he played on the same team with Cliff Branch, who was drawing double coverage. So he played with one of the short-handed receivers of all time, and Fred Bilenikoff. Bilenikoff is in the Hall of Fame. His quarterback, Ken Stabler, is in the Hall of Fame. Their tight end, Dave Casper, is in the Hall of Fame, but the other wide receiver is not. Cliff Branch. I don't know. Then another player who I think is just as deserving as Cliff Branch to be in the Hall of Fame is a guy by the name, played for the Buffalo Bills, played in 5 Super Bowls, 4 with Buffalo and 1 with the Atlanta Falcons. Guy by the name of Cornelius Bennett. Cornelius Bennett was one of the most versatile and one of the greatest outside linebackers you ever want to see. He played at a time where outside linebackers just didn't rush the quarterback. He used to cover the tight ends, cover running backs, and rush the quarterback. I played against Cornelius. He was one of my most formidable foes I've ever played against. I'm like, Cornelius is as big as me and as fast as me. And that was a combination I didn't see a lot, in the NFL, because I was a big running back. And so it was a lot of linebackers as big as me, but not as quick as me. There was a lot of running backs, small linebackers, smaller than me, but not as strong as I was. But Cornelius was both. He was like looking in the mirror. He's like, Keith, I'm pretty quick, so you better give me your best because I'm giving you. So we used to go at it. I'm like, man, I can't be taking it easy on this guy. I mean, because, when I see a smaller linebacker come in and blitz, I'm like, I'm about to eat your lunch, tear you up. You ain't going to come in here no more. Or if I got to run out for a pass pattern, I know I could get open. I said if it's a big linebacker, I'm out quicking, and if it's a smaller linebacker, I'm out physical him. Well, Cornelius, it was like looking in the mirror because, everything I wanted to do, he could offset it. And so I just had to go in deeper in my bag of tricks against him. And so we used to have some excellent matchups. But I compare his career. I mean, and he played with some great players. He played with Bruce Smith, who the Hall of Famer, Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, those 3 guys, and Thurman Thomas. So he's on the same team with, almost like L.C. Greenwood with a lot of Hall of Famers. And so he gets overlooked. But you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s, and like L.C. Greenwood said, they said there's too many Steelers. It really was there's too many of his teammates. The Steelers of the 70s had the quarterback in the Hall of Fame, Terry Bradshaw, a running back in the Hall of Fame, and Franco Harris, a lineman in the Hall of Fame, I'm looking at Mike Webster. So that's 3 on offense, not to mention the other 2 were on offense, the wide receiver, and Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. So that's 5 Hall of Famers on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, they had Mel Blount at corner, Joe Green at defensive tackle. They got Jack Lambert at middle linebacker, and the outside linebacker made it in the Hall of Fame by the name of Jack Ham. I watched Jack Ham his whole career. I watched Cornelius Bennett his whole career. One is in the Hall of Fame, the other isn't. I don't understand that. I believe Cornelius Bennett, his career mirrors Jack Ham. If Jack Ham is in the Hall of Fame, so should Cornelius Bennett. My last one that I got to talk about, this year I saw John Lynch, safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, he was on the Super Bowl winning team and with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they won it. He's a safety, and he made the Hall of Fame. But there's a defensive back who I played with, and he was a finalist this year, but did not make it, a guy by the name of Eric Allen. Eric Allen was so great at the cornerback position, and he played at the same time as Deion Sanders. He was drafted the year before Deion. And people ask me all the time about Deion Sanders. And they said, man, how great was he? I said, Deion was great. You wish he had played with you? Yeah. Why not? I'm greedy. I want all the great players. But I played with the great one who did more for us than Deion ever could have did for us. Who was that? Eric Allen. Eric Allen anchored our Eagles defenses of the 80s and 90s. Buddy Ryan's defense. He covered Michael Irvin so good one game against the Cowboys. They're walking back after the play, and Michael Irvin asked Eric Allen, we didn't ask him, he told Eric Allen, why y'all doubling me? Why y'all doubling me today? Eric said, nobody's doubling you, it's just me. It just feels like a double team. That's how good I got you covered. So Eric Allen, he didn't make the Hall of Fame. Cornelius Bennett didn't make the Hall of Fame. Neither did Cliff Branch. Hopefully this time next year, all three of those guys be in. Thank you for listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show. I'll be back on my normal time next Monday. But in the meantime, random acts of kindness to your fellow man. Wear your mask. Keep your social distancing. Love you all. See you next week.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING, 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Han Solo. I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Can't wait.
This is Barton Hahn on ESPN.